Well, good morning. I'm Bob Joshik, Superintendent of Red Wing Public Schools. On behalf of the Red Wing High School, the Minnesota State College Southeast, Hiawatha Valley family, Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and the American Legion Post number 54, welcome to our school and today's Veterans Day program. A special thank you to all of our high school students for joining us as we honor our veterans this morning. At this time, please stand with attention and respect as the All Veterans Color Guard and Prairie Island Indian Community Color Guard present our nation's colors. Succeeding will be the Civil Air Patrol presenting our military flags. Once the flags and Eagle staff are posted, the national anthem will be sung by Red Wing High School's Ovation, directed by Mr. Scott Barrow. For those who have served and are not in uniform today, you are welcome to render a hand salute during the national anthem and other moments when we honor our country this morning.
Hope. Forward, faith. Prepare to post. Post the colors. And salute.
Thank you. You may be seated at this time. Again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Veterans Day commemoration. Today we gather as a school and as a community to honor the courage, service, and sacrifice of the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces. Whether they served in times of peace or conflict, at home or abroad, each of our veterans has helped protect the freedoms that we cherish every day. Their dedication reminds us that liberty is not something we can take for granted. It is something that is earned, defended, and upheld by those willing to serve. We're especially honored to have veterans' families, family members, and community guests with us today. Your presence gives our students a chance to connect directly with history, not as words in a textbook, but as living examples of your commitment, your resilience, and your pride in our country. To our students, may today be a reminder of the power of gratitude. When we listen to our veterans' stories and we reflect on their service, we learn what it truly means to give back. to stand for something bigger than ourselves. On behalf of Red Wing Public Schools, thank you for joining us as we remember, reflect, and celebrate the heroes among us. Today, we also acknowledge that Red Wing Public Schools in the city of Red Wing stand on the Wawakan Dakota homelands. The city of Red Wing derived its name from a Dakota man named Tatanka Omani, also known as Chief Red Wing. We honor him and the Dakota people that have called this their homeland, especially the Native American veterans who have served our country. When non-Indigenous people take time to learn about the history of these grounds and our Indigenous neighbors, they follow a path of growth and progress towards a brighter future. Our Red Wing High School Native American Student Association strives to work with allies to strengthen relationships and to educate everybody. Here to introduce our next song and to educate us further will be students from our Red Wing High School Native American Student Association. Please welcome Darlin Fiddler and Shania Wells.
Hahano washte, Haramedaki api, Chante washte na peo juzapi, Chante ohiti kahu yamaki api, Gawa shuja iya Darlin Fiddler. Wakba washte amatanga. Hello, my friends and relatives. I greet you with a good heart and a handshake. My name is Darlin Fiddler. My Lakota name is Chante ohiti kahu, which translates to brave-hearted woman. I am from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, and I am here to represent NASA, the Native American Student Association.
Hamadakiapi, Inushkiam, Wanshiankapi, Wasichu Yashnai Wells Makiapi. Tintuwinta and Mataha. Hello, friends and relatives. I'm glad to see you all. My name is Shania Wells, and I come to represent the Prairie Island Indian community. We are here to respect and honor all veterans that have served in all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces that protect and defend our rights and freedoms. A major focus in Dakota culture is to honor and respect our veterans during all ceremonies, speeches, and prayers. Tribute is paid to those who have sacrificed our nations, the four Dakota communities, our Prairie Island Indian community, Lower Sioux, Upper Sioux, Shakopee, Midway-Wakantawa, Sioux community. Minnesota also has 7 Ojibwe tribes: Red Lake, Boys Fort, White Earth, Leech Lake, Fond du Lac, Mille Lacs, and Grand Portage. The people of our communities value and admire their wisdom, leadership, and service.
Native Americans serve in the U.S. military at a higher rate than any ethnic group. Our people have served in every major U.S. conflict. American Indian communities remember their veteran sacrifice in traditional songs. Today you will hear the veteran songs. This song demonstrates thousands of years of tradition and culture for our Kichita, or warriors. In this song you would hear words like Ohitika, which means brave, Akisha means to warhoop, Natan means to charge, and Kiksuya means to remember. Now we want to introduce the Dakota Circle Singers, who will be singing the Veterans Day song along with the flag song. We ask you to stand, if able, to respect and honor our veterans. Pidamana.
Thank you, Darlin, Shania, and all members of our Native American Student Association, including our Dakota Circle singers, as well as the dancers that you noticed in the back. So thank you very much. You add so much to our program today. At this time, I'd like to introduce Daniel Ludwig, Navy submarine veteran and past National Commander of the American Legion.
I will be presenting the POW-MIA table ceremony. But before I start, I'd just like to share some information with you. In World War II, there are still some 73,000 American patriots that never come home. Korea is over 7,580 veterans that never came home. Vietnam, 1,587 are still missing. In the Cold War, there's 126. That's some 82,000 American patriots who went off to defend our freedom that didn't make it home. So now I'll present the program. As you entered the gymnasium this morning, you may have noticed a small table in a place of honor. The table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are called prisoners of war or missing in action. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join together to pay our humble tribute to them and bear witness to their continued absence. The table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner against his or her oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of purity of their intentions to respond to our country's call. The single red rose in the vase reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep the faith while waiting for their return. The yellow ribbon on the vase represents the yellow ribbons worn on the lapels of thousands who demand with unyielding determination the proper accounting for our comrades who are not among us today. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of countless fallen tears of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us here this morning. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home away from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifices. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. And now I invite the audience to stand, and veterans, if you can, stand and while we render taps.
Thank you, Mr. Ludwig, to Terry Nelson and Jen Lee on trumpet. I am Joshua Fuchs, principal of Red Wing High School, and I too welcome you to our learning community. Today is our privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them, their service, and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it, and of course, those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Students and guests, today as we honor the men and women of the armed forces, both past and present, I want you to look around at these brave Americans in this gym and really think about what you've done, what they've done for our country and for you. Take a moment to look around and thank and see all these veterans that are in here today. We would now like to take a moment to honor those among us who have bravely served our country in times of conflict. Please stand if you've served during the global war on terrorism, including conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Persian Gulf War. The Vietnam War. The Cold War. Those who served during the Korean War. Finally, we do have 2 local World War II veterans that try to attend this annual event when able. Please honor these members of the greatest generation who are seated here in the front row if they could make it today. World War II veterans. We thank you all for your service and for being here today. My late mother spent 2 decades in the Air Force. My sister served in the Navy, and now my nephew serves on a Navy submarine. I'm thankful for all the Air Force pilots that my mom worked with as a kid who snuck me out on airplanes, bombers, transport planes, and the ground crew that either didn't see me or turned a blind eye. My nephew just came home from Guam, a place that I got to live as a little kid. Through my own lived experience, I know the importance of community support with loved ones who serve our country. It is an honor and privilege to ask that today we honor not only those who have served, but also the families who have supported them. Your commitment and sacrifice have strengthened our nation. Ask at this time that any guests and students who are military spouses, parents, or children, please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your important role in supporting our nation's veterans and service members. Students, staff, guests sitting before us are veterans. These men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, their lives, not for recognition or fame or the honor we bestow upon them today. They served to protect and honor our country, to maintain our way of life. The Armed Forces Salute, played by Red Wing High School Band under the direction of John Mina, will honor each branch of the armed services with its service song. Veterans, please stand if able while the service song for your respective branch is played and introduced, and your flag is lowered by members of Civil Air Patrol. United States Coast Guard. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. United States Navy.
Thank you, Mr. Dina, and all the band members. We're thankful for the time and passion all of the musicians have put into being an important part of today's program. I'm Marcia Danielson, President of Minnesota State College Southeast. We appreciate being part of this important annual event honoring the veterans in our community. At Minnesota State College Southeast, we believe college is for everyone. We believe in meeting students where they are, and we believe that every step toward reaching their education goals should be simple and achievable. That is why Southeast is honored to work with many veterans to assure that they have access to a college education at Southeast. The Department of Veterans Affairs has made access to college education a key priority. The post-911 GI Bill provides substantial benefits toward tuition, housing, and books for eligible veterans. We work with veterans to obtain the benefits that they need to pursue their educational goals, whether that be earning an academic award, transferring to university to complete a bachelor's degree, or attaining career skills. Veterans, if we can be of service in any way, please know that you are welcome and wanted at Minnesota State College Southeast. And now it is my pleasure to introduce two very important guests today, our keynote speaker and his son. Here to introduce you to his father is Red Wing High School junior Nick Babcock.
Years ago, my dad enlisted in the Minnesota Army National Guard, gained his commission as a signal officer through ROTC at Minnesota State University Mankato in 2004. He has been on 3 deployments, 4 state emergency activations, and 2 overseas training events, demonstrating a steadfast commitment to both state and national service. He is currently serving as the Army G6 for Minnesota Joint Forces HQ, where he provides strategic leadership the state military's IT, communication, and cyber capabilities. As a civilian, he holds the position of Director of Network Engineering at Optum, division of United Health Group, where he focuses on the integration of acquired organizations. As a resident of Red Wing since 2007, he's been married to my mom, Erica, for 20 years, so had me and my 2 sisters, and enjoys volunteering in Scouting America, attending our sporting events, and serving on the executive board of the American Legion in town. Please welcome my dad, Colonel Stephen Babcock.
Hold on until after the seat for this, so let's get ready. Good morning, everybody. True honor and privilege to be here with you. Thank you, Nick, for that introduction. Thank you for that. Thank you to the American Legion and the Yellow Ribbon for asking me to be here speaking in front of you today. For veterans, if you're not aware of the Yellow Ribbon program, or if you're not a member of the American Legion or the VFW, report to Lance Garrick after this is not doing it. Our local American Legion post last year alone under Lance's leadership donated over $80,000 to our community. That's mostly support our veterans in need, but primarily support our children's programs. Very honorable society. Thank you to the Red Wing High School for putting this on. 9th year, going strong. It's a beautiful event. I know there's a lot that goes into this. Thank you. Thank you for everyone for being here to support our veterans. Mr. Mayor, everyone that came out. It's wonderful to see you. And thank you most of all for our veterans. We honor the service and sacrifice of all veterans, and we deeply appreciate those that are able to join us today. Your presence is a testament to the strength, dedication, and legacy of all who have served. This year we marked 3 milestone anniversaries. 250 years
Since the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps were founded in 1775. For 2.5 centuries, soldiers, sailors, and Marines have stood at the heart of our nation's defense. 160 years since the Civil War ended in 1865, a conflict that nearly shattered our nation, but ultimately renewed our dedication to freedom and unity. 80 years since the end of World War II, a war that reshaped the globe, forever changed a generation, and whose echoes are still felt in the world today. This anniversary reminds us that service is timeless. Each era brings new challenges, and each era, Americans have raised the right hand and answered that call. On Veterans Day, we honor all who have served. Those who answered the first call for independence, those who carried back tyranny in Europe and the Pacific, those who endured fighting in Korea and Vietnam, those deployed to the Middle East and beyond, and those who continue to serve today, abroad and here. All have had unique experiences, but all share a common thread of service before self. Minnesota has a proud place in that history. The 34th Infantry Division headquartered in Arden Hills. Spent most of my career with them. They were the first American division deployed to Europe in World War II. Soldiers fought across North Africa and Italy without ever breaking. The Red Bulls left a legacy of grit and resilience that continues to define the division today. 60 years later, that same division carried out the longest deployment of any Army National Guard in Iraq. Thousands of Minnesotans left their families, careers, and classrooms and served overseas for nearly 2 years. 2 years is a long time to be away from home. I know there are others here that understand that. I mean, good time. I also appreciate that some here have been out longer, under far more difficult circumstances. For me, the hardest part was leaving my wife Erica. She was 5 months pregnant when I left. When I got home, I had her Caleb, who some here know. She was 18 months old. Nearly all of my memories of her as a baby just told me in photos and videos that my wife brought to me. That deployment taught me a lot on leadership and service, more so than any class I've ever done. I learned from great leaders, and probably more so from not so great leaders. The best leaders inspired through humility, compassion, and example. The worst stopped me what happens when arrogance and indifference take over. I often find it difficult to emulate the examples of good leadership, the charisma, the presence that they have. I find that unnatural within myself. But understanding those things that make bad leaders, I can avoid those. And I work hard to do that. Throughout my deployment, I saw problems and I worked to fix them. Sometimes it meant stepping outside my lane, and often that got me in trouble. But taking care of soldiers was more important than my career. That experience defined my purpose, to serve others. At the end of the day, your rank, your title, your career is for nothing if you're not working to lift other people up. Leadership starts with showing up, being prepared when you show up. Scouts taught me a lot about being prepared, and it was the most important lesson in my life. For leadership, showing up is more than being in the room, being in uniform, and being part of the group. It's about being engaged, dependable, and being ready to help. Showing up means doing your part with pride, following through, and being the person that others can count on when things get tough. Show up with a purpose. Have a vision for where you're going, for your education, your career, your family, your community. Chase that vision with everything you have. You're starting out something new. Nobody expects you to be perfect at it. You only need to be willing to try, to learn, and to keep showing up. Beyond the Red Bulls, Minnesota veterans have made their mark in every American conflict since statehood. Hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans have served, and nearly 10,000 have given the ultimate sacrifice. 73 have earned the Medal of Honor. Minnesotans have always answered the call. And their stories, across all generations, are part of Minnesota's story. When the Civil War broke out, William Cowell was the first person from Green County to answer the call for the Union. We recognize his name because it's memorialized by one of our favorite parks and one of our schools here in town. He was elected by the Veterans Volunteers to be the commander as they left town. After 2 years of fighting and a series of promotions, he found himself in command of the 1st Minnesota Infantry Regiment as they arrived in Gettysburg. During the Battle of Gettysburg, the Confederate brigade broke through the Union line and was on its way to overrun Union positions on Cemetery Ridge. If they overtook those positions, it meant defeat for the Union. For that battle, and likely the war. General Hancock, seeing that danger, he found Colonel Cowell and he ordered them to advance and take those colors. Colonel Cowell ordered that charge. That morning, Colonel Cowell had 1,800 men under his command. Some of them got detached out, many of them were lost. He led 262 men to the charge against a Union 4 or 5 times their size. 215 of those men were killed or wounded in the charge. Colonel Cowell included. He was wounded. That charge slowed the Confederates enough to allow General Hancock to move the reserves, reinforcements into that position on Cemetery Ridge. They secured victory. They met their mission. They slowed the Confederates, and they did capture the colors. The pride for Minnesota captured the colors. After the battle, the enemy commander would write about how difficult it was fighting against the 1st Minnesota, and his perception that he was actually outnumbered. Today, that legacy lives on in the 2nd Battalion of the 135th Infantry Regiment, headquartered in Mankato. Their Union Crest is marked with a blue X, noting their service in the Civil War, and they proudly maintain the motto, "To the last man." The 2nd Battalion, 136th Infantry Regiment, headquartered in Moorhead. I served with them for 4 years. I wear their Union Crest today. It is also marked with blue X, and they trace their lineage to the 2nd Minnesota Infantry Regiment. Their motto, "Came to them," was earned in blood and courage. At the Battle of Missionary Ridge near Chattanooga, Tennessee, General Grant faced up against the Confederate General Bragg. 2nd Minnesota was in the front of the assault. The enemy, they were entrenched at the top of the ridge. They were well fortified. We were setting up musket fire and cannons on the assault on our forces. At just 100 paces, the 2nd Minnesota charged. Through embankments, over rocks and mud, under relentless fire, they charged up that hill. Their attack was so fierce, so unrelenting, that the Confederate troops abandoned their defenses. They even left behind artillery, which was a really street. And that charge secured Union victory in that battle. 2nd Minnesota began that day with 185 soldiers. Only 5 were killed in the charge, 34 wounded. They took the hill, and they secured victory. 1st Battalion, 194th Armor Regiment, based in Brainerd. They carried a different but equally proud lineage. Their lineage were reached back to World War II when the 34th Tank Company joined other units and formed the 194th Tank Battalion. They became part of America's 1st Expeditionary Armored Force. They deployed to the Pacific to guard the Philippines against the Japanese invasion. The day the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they also attacked the Philippines. Just a few days later, they invaded the Philippines. After 3 months of fierce fighting, the U.S. forces and their Filipino allies were captured. They were forced onto the combat march. They were forced to march for 60 miles, no food or water. And if they stopped, as many did, they were murdered. At the end of the march, they faced imprisonment, further starvation, and torture. Of the 64 Minnesotans who deployed with the 194th, one was wounded and evacuated before the U.S. forces were captured. Only 3 were killed in action. 29 died as prisoners of war. Only 32 were returned. The 194th Battalion stands today carrying forward a spirit of courage and resolve. In 2021, that unit deployed to the Middle East and became a decisive force in our withdrawal from Afghanistan. Supporting the 82nd Airborne Division, they secured the International Airport in Kabul and supported the evacuation of civilians and our allies. In the chaos and danger of the evacuation and the constant threat of enemy attack, they brought everybody home. I find it remarkably fitting that the battalion the Army abandoned in 1941 was there in Afghanistan to ensure that our other forces do not suffer the same fate. One of the most meaningful parts of my life has been listening to veteran stories. My father, Sergeant Jack Baptist, is a Marine, served in Vietnam. His parents went in the Army during World War II. My other grandfather was in the Navy during the Korean War. And his father fought the 32nd Infantry Division of the Wisconsin Army National Guard during World War I. Their stories and sacrifices shaped my understanding of duty and honor, making my own path to service feel like a continuation of the legacy instead of starting something new. I had a neighbor here in town, Arlie Hugh, some may recognize your name. He's a great guy. His service continued well beyond his time in the Navy, supporting the community, serving other veterans. He was at the Battle of Iwo Jima. The difficult Battle of the Pacific. Most will recognize the iconic photo of the Marines hoisting the flag at the top of the mountain at the end of the battle. We were victorious in that battle. It was a difficult one. We ended up driving a landing boat during that, and that wasn't his job. He was a gun crew chief on the ship. But he saw that it was needed for him to be on the ship. Never did. He brought the Marines ashore, bringing in reinforcements, bringing wounded back to the ship for treatment. Every trip he took, he put himself in harm's way. But the Marines needed him, and he knew it. There's no way to know how many lives he saved today, but it's definitely wrong. I spend hours in my garden talking to his daughter, talking with him. It was a window into history, and a lesson in courage, humility, and service. As we reflect on this year's milestones, we see that America's story is inseparable from the story of its veterans. Their services carried us through conflict, through hardship, and through triumph. But honoring veterans is not only about remembering the past, it's about how we live today. Service is more than a uniform, it's a way of showing up for others, lifting people up and carrying forward the values of integrity, humility, and courage. To our veterans, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your devotion, and your sacrifices. Thank you for the example you set and the legacy you've built. To our community, let the day go beyond remembrance. Let it be a commitment to ensure that every veteran is honored not only in words, but with real support, respect, and gratitude. And to the students, your role is vital. The veterans in your lives are living history. Take the time to ask them about their experiences and learn their stories. You'll discover lessons about resilience and sacrifice and service that no textbook can teach you. These conversations are bridges connecting your future to their past and ensuring their legacy endures. The line of commitment that began 250 years ago continues today, And it will continue tomorrow through the choices we make, the communities we build, and the stories we carry forward. That is what we honor today. That is what we'll live with. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Babcock. It is an honor to have you join us today. Thank you for your service and dedication to our country. I welcome Mary Turner of the Evening Star Quilt Guild to the stage.
Good morning. I have a quilt. The sun is going to help honor him. It says, presented to Steve Babcock. Your service to our country will never be forgotten, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. God bless you.
Thank you to the Quilt Guild and again to Colonel Babcock. Your community is proud to have you here on stage today. Now at this time, we'll take a moment of reflection, followed by America the Beautiful by the Dudley High School musicians. are very proud to be part of today's program and extend our deepest gratitude to our community veterans. especially those who are staff or students in our learning communities. Veterans and guests, we invite you to stay for a reception behind the stage following the retiring of the colors. The reception is made possible by many community organizations and businesses, and we encourage you to join us. There will also be a large surprise presentation of more quilts, so please stay for that before enjoying cake and refreshments or before departing. Guests, before we retire the colors, I would like to remind you that protocol is that we remain standing silently at our seats until the color guards have completed the retirement of the colors. I will dismiss the students once this is completed, and then you are welcome to proceed to the reception.
Detail. Good. Put. Forward. March. Detail.